Chapter 5: Problem Solving, Decision Making, and Action Planning. Let us start defining problem solving. Problem solving is the process of working through details of a problem to reach a solution. When you actively engage in problem solving, you should first identify the specific problem needing to be solved, and then you should remove the wrong solutions. Remember, as long as you are breathing, you can solve the problems. Problems can also be seen as chances. They allow you to see things from a different perspective and to do things in a different way, perhaps to make a new start. Whatever issue you encounter, some steps are basic. You should identify the problem. Then, define this problem. After that, you can examine all the options. You will start acting on a plan. Look at the consequences. These steps are known as the ideal model of problem solving. Indeed, you need to be able to evaluate information or situations, break them down into their basic components, find various ways of approaching and resolving them, and finally decide on the most appropriate of these ways to solve the problem. Solving problems involves various skills. Now, which particular skills are needed will differ depending on the problem and your role in the organization. But the following skills are key to problem solving. Lateral thinking, which is known as the ability to think creatively or outside the box. Lateral thinking involves discarding the obvious, leaving behind traditional modes of thought, and throwing away preconceptions. Initiative. Initiative is the power or opportunity to act or take charge before others do. Logical reasoning, which is the process of using rational, systematic series of steps based on sound mathematical procedures and given statements to arrive at a conclusion. And finally, persistence, which is when you continue to do something even though it's difficult or other people are against it. Barriers to problem solving. Failure to recognize the problem, making a hasty choice, failure to consider all consequences, and conceiving the problem too narrowly. Stages to solving a problem. Evaluate the problem, gather information, break the problem into parts, identify solutions, select the best solution, take action, examine results, and test and review after that. What's decision making? Decision making can be defined as the process of making choices among possible alternatives. The main steps in decision making are: clarify the nature of the problem before deciding action. What are the key priorities? Collect and summarize the data systematically. Use creativity, initiative in the generation of alternative solutions to the problem. Produce a list of all the courses of action you can think of without trying to narrow these down. Implement your decision and then evaluate how well things went. Remember that brainstorming may help here. Think outside the box. Don't just look at the obvious and the tried and tested options. Barriers to decision making. Hasty, making quick decisions without thinking. Narrow, decision making is based on very limited information. Scattered, our ideas and thoughts in decision making are disconnected. Fuzzy, The lack of clarity on important aspects of a decision causes us to overlook certain important considerations. Decision-making process. Define the decision clearly. Consider all possible choices. Gather all the relevant information and evaluate all the pros and cons of each possible choice. Select the choice that seems to best meet the needs of the situation. And implement a plan of action, and then monitor the results, making needed adjustments. What's action planning? Action planning is a process which will help you to focus your ideas and to decide what steps you need to take to achieve particular goals that you may have. Action planning involves identifying your objectives, setting objectives which are achievable and measurable, prioritizing your tasks effectively, identifying the steps needed to achieve your goals, using lists, so keep a to-do list, the ability to work effectively under pressure, completing work to a deadline, and having an emergency plan. Thank you and see you in the next video.